Okay, so again, my name is Ross. I'm a tutor at the West Side location, so hopefully when everything opens up, I will see you there. What we're going to do today is a packet in English called Sentence Combining Compound Subjects and Predicates. So if you want access to the packet, it's Tab E, language. I believe it's identified as packet 16 from what I can see. So basically, the purpose of this um, worksheet is to give you some ideas on how to become a better writer. And there's certain rules that have to be followed when you talk about sentences and making them shorter and making them just make more sense. So with this one here, the great example is riding this bus. So it says Max got on the bus, Alice got on the bus, I got on the bus. So that's fine, right? That's all true, but there's a better way to write it. And it's talking about trying to avoid repeating sentence parts. So sure, Max got on the bus. Alice got on the bus. I got on the bus. But the simpler way to say it is Max, Alice, and I got on the bus. So those sentences can be combined, and you just have to join the subjects into one compound subject. And the word compound here is meaning just more than one. So Max got on the bus. That is just one subject right here, right? That's subject one. Max is the subject of the sentence. Sentence two is Alice. That's the other subject. Sentence three is I. So I is the subject. So when you run across a sentence like this, you can just combine them into one, and it makes it flow a lot easier. So Max, Alice, and I got on the bus. And that's now one compound subject, one compound subject. So just like any video, if you need to pause, if you need to rewind, fast forward, watch it again, those are at your fingertips. You're allowed to do these videos however makes the most sense to you. You can watch half now, you can watch half tomorrow. It's totally up to you how you do these videos. So we'll erase. So this one here says read each item. If the sentences can be combined by joining subjects, write the new sentence. The sentences don't need to be combined, write correct. So number one, I was looking at this one earlier, and the best way that I thought, and I'll do maybe one and two, and then I'll let you try three, four, five, and six, and then we can go back and review them. But number one, I would just say the sportswear and shoes. So I don't want to write it because it'll take me too long, but it would say the sportswear and shoes must be inventoried. It makes more sense, and it's quicker, and you can combine the subjects and make it flow a little bit better. So we know that the sportswear must be inventoried and the shoes must be inventoried, but we can combine it into one compound subject by saying the sportswear and shoes must be inventoried. So number two, it says the company grew last year, 4 new salespeople were hired. I think this one is probably fine as correct. The only thing I could think of, maybe it would be the company grew last year and 4 new salespeople were hired. Maybe you change it like that. The company grew last year and 4 new salespeople were hired. I just don't know if it's 2 different subjects that can be combined into one compound subject. So maybe we can look at the answers if they give us the answers at the back of the sheet. But for me, I'm leaning toward this being correct. It could possibly be changed. I'm not 100% sure. So if you want to try 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own, and then we can do them together after you're done. I'll let you pause it if you want to try them on your own. Okay, so for number 3, this is very similar to the ones at the top. And I'm kind of tired of using brown. Let's try green as our pen color. So tulips bloom in the spring, daffodils bloom in the spring. This one can be, you could just put tulips and daffodils, and you want a lowercase d. So you see you're combining the subjects into a compound subject. Tulips and daffodils bloom in the spring. You haven't changed the meaning of the sentence at all. The Halloween party was great. Everyone wore costumes. I think that one sounds correct to me. My husband took dancing lessons. I took dancing lessons. Okay, this is a perfect example of a compound subject. My husband and I. My husband and I took dancing lessons. That's a one that you can change. Number 6, I already see. You can change it. Diane and Tina interviewed for the job. So the only one that I'm a little bit unsure of is probably number 2. I'm thinking that you probably don't change it. I don't know what you think. Maybe you have a thought on number 2, but my guess is that it stays as correct. So take a look at these. I'm going to clear off the writing and we'll move on to the next page. But again, the idea behind this page is to see if you can combine sentences. Remember that the title of our page here is Sentence Combining Compound Subjects and Predicates. So we were just looking at compound subjects right now. Okay, so we're doing practice here. It says short sentences with the same subject can get boring. This is true even when different words name the subject. So the example says Joe's boss praised his work. His boss gave him a bonus. Soon she promoted him. So it says you can combine the sentences by joining the predicates in a compound predicate. So it says Joe's boss praised his work, gave him a bonus, and soon promoted him. So you see, again, we're combining. So let's have a pen. So this is incorrect. I mean, it's fine, right? But the purpose of this worksheet is to combine subjects or predicates into a compound subject or a compound predicate. This one here, we're doing compound predicate by just sort of melting these are 3 sentences, right? Sentence 1, 2, and 3. We're kind of melting it into 3 ideas within one sentence. So we just have one big sentence here. So let's do some examples. And we have 7. So I'll do 1, 2, and 3, and then you can try 4 through 7 on your own. So the directions say read each item if the sentences can be combined. By joining the 2 or 3 predicates in a compound predicate, write the new sentence. If the sentences don't need to be combined, write correct. So we have Alice Jensen gets up early. Mrs. Jensen walks her dog before going to work. All right, so this one I'm thinking can be combined. So it says here, if the sentence can be combined by joining the 2 or 3 predicates. My guess is that you would write this one as Alice Jensen gets up early and walks her dog before going to work. That's how I would rewrite it. So this is not correct. We are combining the 2 sentences into one that has 2 predicates. So Alice Jensen gets up early and walks her dog before going to work. Number 2 says Chris mowed the lawn. He pruned the shrubs. 2 predicates in this one that I can see. I don't see 3, I just see 2. So I would say again, you could say Chris mowed the lawn and pruned the shrubs. So that would be how I would combine them. Third one, and then you can do the rest. The control panel has 20 switches. Some of the switches are red. This one is a little tricky to me. I'm thinking that it stays the same. The only thing I can think of, and I don't know if this is right, I would say the control panel has 20 switches, some of which are red. The control panel has 20 switches, comma, some of which are red. I'm not sure if that's the purpose of this worksheet because it doesn't really go over that much in the examples. But my gut says that if we look at the answers, it's going to say it's correct because you probably aren't supposed to combine those. But if you wanted to, I don't see why it still makes sense if you said the control panel has 20 switches, comma, some of which are red. That's maybe another way to do it. All right, so you can try 4 through 7. I'll pause it and then you guys pause it and then go ahead and try it on your own, and then we'll come back and I'll go over them. All right, so we'll do 4 through 7. So the first one says the snow covered the ground, it drifted against the houses. So my guess is for 4, you're going to combine them. So the snow covered the ground, and I would say the snow covered the ground and drifted against the houses. These are 2 predicates that you can combine into one compound predicate. We haven't run across one that has 3, as far as I know. I've only seen some with 2, so maybe it looks like the last one, maybe number 7, will have 3 predicates. So number 5, Tara entered the contest. The first prize was a car. I'm thinking that one is correct. Maybe you've thought of something else, but as far as I'm looking at it, it sounds like it was correct because we're dealing with 2 different ideas, the contest and a car. It seems to me like it would be just correct. Number 6 says Erin sat by the window. She waited for the rain to stop. That's a tough one. I could see maybe it being Erin sat by the window and waited for the rain to stop. Maybe we can look at the answers for this one when we're done with number 7. Number 7 says Haley brushed her hair. She braided it carefully. Then she tied the braids with yellow ribbon. That makes sense, right? But I'm hoping that you figured out that this is best written as a compound predicate with 3 parts. So you could say Haley brushed her hair, comma, braided it carefully, comma, then. So it makes sense to me. You could say Haley brushed her hair, comma, braided it carefully, comma, then tied the braids with yellow ribbon. That seems to make the most sense to me. Let's take a quick look down at the answers for, this is page 80. Curious for number 3 and 5 and 6 on page 80. Let's see if we have answers. So page 80, 3 is correct, 5 is correct. And then number 7 actually says Haley brushed her hair, braided it carefully, and tied the braids. So let's do this. Oh no, that doesn't work. Let me go back up to the top to page 80. So 3 was correct, 5 is correct, and then it told us to do this one for the last one, and maybe you had this. Haley brushed her hair, braided it carefully, and tied the braids with yellow ribbon. So that's what they say for number 7. Haley brushed her hair, braided it carefully, and tied the braids with yellow ribbon. So 3 and 5 were correct. The other ones hopefully make some sense to you with how you change it to make it into a compound predicate. Some of these English ones you probably have known are not as cut and dry as some of the math. Like with math, there's a right answer, there's a wrong answer. Sometimes in English stuff, there's a little bit of wiggle room. So hopefully you follow this for compound. Let me clear off the drawings. Compound subjects and predicates. So we'll move on to page 81, and then we'll try to maybe get through 81 and 82 today. Shouldn't take us too long. So we're now going to apply. So read each pair, circle the letter of the sentence that correctly combines the two. So there's 7 on here. I'll do 1, 2, and 3, and you can do the rest. We'll change to orange pen. So the foreman called a meeting. The foreman explained the new safety rules. So the foreman called a meeting and the new safety rules were explained. The foreman called a meeting and explained the new safety rules. This one is correct because letter A says the foreman called a meeting and the new safety rules were explained. Yeah, it's just kind of written in the wrong order. It's just a little wordy. So this one would be the foreman called a meeting and explained. So it would just flow a little bit better. The foreman called a meeting and explained the new safety rules. So we're kind of doing the same thing as we were doing in the other page, except we are just sort of taking the parts that are underneath and just sort of sticking them like that. So number 2 says Dan got lost during his trip. Dan had to ask for directions during his trip. So Dan got lost. See, again, A doesn't make sense to me. Dan got lost during his trip and Dan got directions. You don't have to say Dan more than once in this one. So it says Dan got lost and had to ask for directions during the trip. That one makes the most sense to me. Number 3 says Sally rides a bike to work. Charlie rides a bike to work. Sally rides a bike to work and Charlie rides. And that one doesn't make any sense to me. What does Charlie ride? It's incomplete. B says Sally and Charlie ride bikes to work. That's the best way to combine those two sentences. So I'm going to scroll down. You try 4 through, I think it was 7, and then we'll go back and look. All right, so we'll look at 4, 5, 6, and 7. So for number 4, let's see what you picked. The officer slowly opened the door. The officer looked inside. The officer slowly opened the door and looked inside. The officer slowly opened the door and the officer inside. This one really doesn't make any sense at all. The officer slowly opened the door and the officer inside. That doesn't make sense. So the officer slowly opened the door and looked inside. That's the best way for number 4. Number 5 says Connie worked in the sales department and Jorge worked in the sales department. So Connie worked and Jorge worked in the sales department. That's fine, but you don't have to say that Connie worked. You could just say Connie and Jorge worked, which is what this letter B says. Number 6, the project is difficult. The project will take a long time to complete. The project is difficult and it will take a long time to complete it. The project is difficult and will take a long time to complete. That's letter B because you don't need the word it so many times in this one. The project is difficult and it will take a long time to complete it. You don't need that. And you don't need, there's just too many its. There's extra its. Number 7, my sister's cookies taste delicious. Her pies taste delicious. My sister's cookies and pies taste delicious. My sister's cookies taste delicious and her pies. It's written in the wrong order. And her pies, what? What are her pies? Are they gross? Are they? It doesn't tell you what her pies are. So that's how you would do 4 through 7. So we'll go to the next page and then we'll be finished for the day. We'll do page 82. So again, as a review, we are doing compound sentences and predicates. We're trying to take 2 or more sentences that are written together and we're trying to sort of melt them into one sentence if we can. You can't always do that, but if the predicates match and if the subjects match, then there's a better possibility that you can combine them. And the reason that we do that is to make your writing better, and it's correct grammatically, and we just want to do the best that we can to write as well as we can and to know the rules for the English language. And these are some rules that you have to follow. All right, so our checkup is 4 questions. I'll do 1 and 2, and then you can do 3 and 4. All right, so read each set of underlines, circle the letter of the sentence that correctly combines. So this says, Hamid dug a trench across the field. Hamid laid drain tile in the trench. So this says, let me do these. Hamid dug a trench and laid drain tile in the trench across the field. That doesn't seem right to me because there's just too much repetition. Hamid dug a trench across the field and laid drain tile in it. Doesn't make sense to me either. Hamid dug a trench and across the field he laid drain tile in it. That one definitely doesn't make sense to me. Hamid dug a trench and laid in the trench. Man, I'm not sure about this one. It doesn't. Hamid dug a trench across the field and laid drain tile in it. It might be B. Might be B. Hamid dug a trench across the field and laid drain tile in it. I'm going to go with B. I think B seems the best to me. It's combining them. We'll look at the end. Number 2, the shortstop caught the ball. The shortstop threw the ball to first base. The shortstop caught the ball and threw it to first base. That sounds right to me. The shortstop caught it and threw to first base the ball. That one doesn't make sense. The shortstop caught the ball to first. That one also doesn't make sense. And I don't think it's correct because it's 2 events, but it can be combined into one event. He catches the ball and then he throws it to first base. So the shortstop caught the ball and threw it to first base. I would say it's F for that one. So if you want to do 3 and 4, I'll scroll down and we'll try those. Erase. So go ahead and pause it if you want to do 3 and 4. All right, I'll get my pen out here and we'll do 3 and 4. The department store is having a sale on shoes. I hope I can find a pair of sandals in my size. That one seems correct to me. Let's see, the department store is having a sale. We don't know that there are sandals in your size. You're just hoping that there are. The department store is having a shoe sale, and I hope I can find sandals. Maybe. It doesn't talk about anything in your size. The department store is having a sale, and no, that one's not correct. My gut is saying that it's D for this one. maybe B, but I'm pretty sure it's D. And then this one, we have one with 3. Miss Lopez ran across the street. Miss Lopez tripped. She broke the heel off her left shoe. I know it's not correct because we can combine these. It's all one event, right? It's all one event. She ran across the street and then she tripped and she broke the heel. So let's see. Miss Lopez ran and tripped across the street and broke the heel. Maybe. Miss Lopez ran across the street and tripped off the heel. No, that one definitely doesn't make sense. Miss Lopez ran across the street, tripped, and broke the heel off her left shoe. That one makes sense. That's a good way to combine those 3. The commas are in the right place, and it's a complete good sentence. So we can go take a look at the answers. I think we thought one was B, and this was F. So let's do BFDH for page 82. BFDH. So we'll do BFDH for this page. There we go, BFDH. So we were right. Let's scroll back up. We'll put those in the right places for this page. So BFDH. And it goes right here. Here we go. So that was combining sentences, the first part of this worksheet. Let me get rid of the drawings. So again, just a quick review. We were looking at combining sentences with compound subjects, and then that's in this page. And then we did some practice. The next page was applying compound sentences and compound predicates. So we did pages up through 82. The next one will be more compound sentence parts. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you the next time for this packet on combining sentences. Bye, everybody.